Good evening, YouTube. This is Silent Citadel. I want to walk you through my rocks and minerals collection. Not all, just some of my favorites. Some of these I know you've seen if you've watched my other rock collection video, but it's been a long time, so I thought it would be fun to revisit because I've acquired a number of new interesting stones. Everybody knows quartz. Very common. This one my grandfather found when he was gem hunting in Nevada. It's huge. He had so many. He'd come back with like a pillowcase full. He let me pick my favorite. Was my favorite. Had that for a long time. I also have a couple other bits of quartz. Some I'm not showing because they're like this but smaller. Many people are familiar as well with those little break open your own geode kits. This was my favorite. Look at this nice hollow sound. It was in 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 pieces. I glued it back together. I didn't think it would be so fragile. It looks like a little world in there. It's like you could go in with a little pickaxe, just mine crystals and miniature. Quartz comes in lots of different colors. Most people know rose quartz, and I know I have some, but I can't seem to find it. I do have some brown quartz as well. It's very sparkly. It's on this nice crystal matrix rock. This wonderful sort of caramel color is what drew me to it. It's like a warm brown. Make sure they're nice and straight. So, I also have another very common stone. It's Flourite. Flourite comes in lots of different colors. This one is an orange. It's like a sorbet color, you know. It looks positively delicious. Like maybe a flavor of ice cream you would get on a very hot summer day. We've also got 2 pieces of green fluorite. One that's got a similar consistency and texture to the orange. But it also grows in a beautiful crystalline form naturally, like this. I think if I had a treasure chest full of these, I would feel rich, even if I wasn't. It's like video game loot. So I've got my quartz, my fluorite. I've also got several pieces of Fulgurite. It's one of my favorites. It's somewhere between a fossil and a mineral. It's not really either. Fulgurite is colloquially known as fossilized lightning. Basically, you have a lightning strike on sand or dirt of some kind, and turns the sand, the glass in the sand, turns the sand into glass. I mean, any glass-like materials that are in there, like, say for instance, if you hit a sandstone, like I imagine this was, you get the earth here sounds like glass. And these tubes, it comes in these tubes because these tubes are the shape of the lightning strike. Depending on what material the lightning hits, it looks a little different. This one's perfectly hollow. It's a very nice one. The best of my 3, and you can see how delicate it is. Listen. It sounds hollow. It sounds glassy. Like maybe a good glass Christmas ornament. An expensive one. Maybe it's frosted or something. You can see through it. That's where the shaft of lightning struck through the sand and turned this instantly into glass. And I do work in the shipping industry. And this doesn't exactly count as a mineral, but it sure is pretty. This is a type of industrial salt. See? Very salty. It's like ashes and salt. It's like mineral salt that they use for all sorts of industrial processes, like coating things in metal. Like if you have something and you want to coat it with a different type of metal, you would use this. And it's used in farming, some medical applications. But it's basically just salt and minerals, potassium. I have a couple different types of gypsum. I don't know if it's true, but my grandma told me when I was young that the Indians and the Native Americans in the Southwest, which is where she lives, would use it as windows. Small windows. Seems like you could. Gypsum grows in all kinds of different forms. This glass-like one is only one of the varieties. Sometimes gypsum also pops up in what's known as a desert rose. A desert rose is quite lovely, fairly common, but incredibly intricate. It's got these little petals. This one's almost perfectly spherical. That's why I was drawn to it. It's very symmetrical, very regular. It's got tiny little lines. Reminds me of the surface of Europa. Just beautiful. And something similar, but not the same, is something called Ulexite. It's commonly known as TV rock. It looks kind of like gypsum, but it's very special. Here's a book. The language of flowers. Look at that. This is naturally occurring. This is not created or manufactured. The earth grew this the way it is. Isn't that amazing? So there's Ulexite. Next up, Pyrite. Just more commonly known as fool's gold, because only a fool would mistake it for gold, although it is quite pretty. In the California gold rush, there were a lot of fools, a lot of people whose hearts jumped, thought, I'll be rich, but no. Pyrite. Pyrite also grows in many forms. One of the most extraordinary is this, a perfect pyrite cube growing out of this rock. This is, again, completely natural, not man-made, not shined. It's not been polished or altered in any way. The earth grew this. The geometry, the language of the universe is math, and it created this. Chalcopyrite is related to pyrite. It's also known as Bornite, and sometimes called peacock ore. Because look, do you see the purples? Look, there's blue. It's hiding in there. Can you see it? It's beautiful. All these little hidden colors just secreted away. I've got another couple very common ones. This one is an amethyst. Everyone knows amethysts. This one's nice because it's that wonderful, clear, milky quartz. Just the purple at the end. It looks like somebody just said, "Oh, amethyst." Just tapped it on the end. Now, some of you may know, my name is Esmeralda. So, of course, I've got to have a raw emerald. My middle name is Marina, so it's actually Esmeralda Marina, which means emerald from the water, or jewel from the water. See how unassuming and plain before it's polished up. It just looks a bit dull, like something you might find in someone's driveway. humble it enough times, and it's the prize in the crown. This is pretty fun. This is raw copper. Feels very cool, much heavier. Listen. Definitely sounds like metal. Doesn't sound like the others. Listen. Can you hear that? It's definitely different. And it feels so cold. Sometimes, alongside of copper, other oxidations will occur. And one of the rarer and more interesting forms of oxidation is a mineral called chalcanthate. And it's fairly uncommon because it's water soluble. So if you ran it under the faucet, it would be destroyed. And this one was grown in a laboratory. It's not naturally occurring. It was grown on this sort of volcanic rock matrix. Look at that. Wow. It's almost too blue, isn't it? It's extraordinary. It's dusty. Tiny little crystals, look at that. Like a little world of blue crystals. I've got a couple more. Make some space. This is another lab grown. It's called bismuth. Somebody told me once that it reminded them of a 1980s apartment. It's very flashy. The longer you look at it, the gaudier it seems. But I think it's wonderful too. Look at that shape. And you can see where it was grown. This little, see that? This is where it was stuck onto something, like a nail or a spike of some kind. Almost like it was screwed on and then grown like that. It's got these amazing blues, purples, and if you catch it at just the right angle, pinks and reds, oranges. Shape is really what gets me. So there's the bismuth. This one's extra nifty. It's called botryoidal hematite. And the botryoid is it's Greek, and it means something that looks like a bunch of grapes. Look at that. It does, doesn't it? It also kind of looks like a disease, almost. But I can see where they got the idea of grapes. And it's hematite, so it's very heavy. Very, very heavy. On the other side, very unassuming. Imagine being the guy who, or girl, who broke this open and said, "Oh, look at that. What a find." It's very special. I do have some opals. These are very interesting. They're a little different. These were not purchased. They were found by my grandfather. These are Oregon opals. They are fire opals. Now, if you catch them at just the right angle, you can see the fire. It's so hard in this light. I cannot tell you how beautiful they are without handing them to you and making you look at them for yourselves. They have so much fire in them. These are worth a stupid amount of money, like hundreds of dollars just for these, and they have to be kept in water. Else they'll fall apart, but even still, they are the red. It's the red that people love. And these milky opals that you see in small rings and earrings and stuff, those are pretty. It's the red, the fire. It's the magic. They will crumble into bits if they're taken out and left to dry. Last thing I have to show you. It's very interesting because it comes with this. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it came from, and I don't know who gave it to me. Grows on sandstone. I can tell you that that's what the matrix is made from. It's a hexagonal mineral. But I don't know what it is. Listen. You can hear how light it is, how hollow, how full of air. I don't know. I don't know enough about minerals to tell you what it is. It's a beautiful crystal. It's like watered down apricots. Oh, that's right. Look, I forgot one. Selenite. It's one of my favorites. It comes in these wonderful rods. And it will shed if you rub it. These little, they're like tiny little individual rods that grow up like this. And they'll flake off. So be careful with it. Same with the chalcopyrite. Chalcanthate. See, the chalcopyrite and the chalcanthate, similar names. The selenite looks so unique. Such a wonderful, it's like kind of soft. It looks like a satin almost. But it's got these wonderful little lines running in it. It's earth. Earth is just awesome. So, and this is everything I have to show you tonight. I hope you enjoyed all of these. I have orange fluorite, green fluorite, potash, amethyst, brown quartz, quartz geode, quartz, pyrite, cube, pyrite, fulgurite, 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 gypsum, gypsum desert rose, Ulexite, opal, botryoidal hematite, bismuth, chalcanthate, copper, raw emerald, chalcopyrite, bornite, the mystery, and the selenite. Thank you for watching. Have a very happy new year.